Colleagues, let me start by thanking Mrs Mahlambi for actually inviting us to the strategic planning session. Indeed, we really appreciate it because it shows that you do understand the planning process, because you cannot plan without knowing what is it that may hinder you from actually achieving your plan. So that is basically what Umlazi district has done, is that when they wanted to plan for 2024, they felt that they must invite risk management, so that the risks that may be a threat towards this, achieving these plans are identified on time. As introduced, my name is Mrs Lugongolo, but they call me Zama. I am the Director Internal Control and Risk Management. The presentation outline will cover the legislative framework and risk management overview and internal control overview. Okay, I will start by first defining what is a risk. By definition, risk is an uncertainty of an event occurring that may have a negative or a positive impact on departmental objectives. I think, if I recall, the first speaker, I think it was the gentleman that was doing the prayer or the program director, that indicated that today we will also be looking at opportunities that can be exploited in order for the department to achieve its objective. So that is also part of risk management. So when we talk about risk, we're not only talking about negative effects, but we are also looking at some of the positive things that we can exploit in order for us to achieve the objectives. But commonly we talk about threats. These are the things that may hinder us from actually achieving our objectives. Risk management, when we're talking about risk management, what are we talking about? Risk management is a continuous, proactive, systematic process affected by HOD, MEC, HOD, management, and other officials in order to achieve the departmental objectives. It is an integral part of our day-to-day activities. When we talk about risk management, we are not managing risk so that we can not have risk, but we manage this so that we can know which risk must be prioritized in order to achieve the objectives, taking into consideration the financial and human capability constraints. So when we are talking about risk management, it's not like it's something that is out of what we're employed to do, but it is part of our day-to-day activities. Every day when we come to work in the morning, we need to think, what is it that could go wrong in order for us to achieve these particular objectives. So the role of risk management is the role of everyone, from the MEC to the cleaner, because most of the time we see when the cleaners are cleaning, we see that yellow sign that says that a danger. So that's part of the cleaners' risk management, where they're saying that if you are to walk here, the floors may be slippery, therefore you can fall. So now that is part of risk management. So when we talk about risk management, it's not Zama's responsibility or the HOD's responsibility, but it is for everyone who's employed at the Department of Education to ensure that the risk within their sessions are managed. Okay, road to success. So what we do if we want to see a successful department. First is to strategize on what we can to do today. And Ms. Mahlambi, I was hoping that I was going to come after the strategy in terms of the program, because it all starts with them on top. They assist with the strategy, setting the vision and the mission and the objectives of the department. Then once now all that has been done, we need to sit down and think, what could be the risk? What are the things that could hinder us from actually achieving these objectives? I think the HOD spoke lately about the issue of fiscal challenge that we have in South Africa. So we know that we cannot be able to do all the programs that we want to do, but we must now be able to prioritize in terms of the budget. So now we won't budget like how we always used to budget. Think, okay, no, this year I'll just add more things, but you need to look at your risk register, because you know what you want to do this year, and you did identify the risks, and now you need to look at your risk register and see which areas are the high risk areas of Umlazi district that we need to focus on, and then we know that the greater part of our budget is going to be used to focus on the high risk areas of the district. Hence we say that you can never divorce these three; they always go together, and this is this is how it should follow each other. It starts with the strategy, then the risk, then the budget. And then who is the responsibility of the risk management? As I've indicated, that everyone in the organization has a responsibility for risk management. This is a clear picture where risk is simplified in the most simple way, where we can identify, or where we can explain what is risk management. This truck here, this red truck, is a Umlazi district, and this white car is the objectives. That in 2024, what you want to do, you want to ensure that you take this white car from the lake. And you are here, you didn't invite us, you are just sitting, you are planning that this is what you want to do, but risk management was not involved. You did not identify any risk that could be a threat to your objectives. Then this is what happens to your objectives. Because you did not see whether does this truck have the capacity to actually take out this car. You just said, no, let's go to them, let's go to our step plan, we'll see. Where we're heading, we'll just do it. And it was always good without risk management. See what happens now. This truck does not have the capacity to actually take out this vehicle, then you fall, you're not achieving your objective. And then now what you will say, hey, what else can we do now because we are in trouble? It's already in April, all your strategic documents have been approved. So now you say, hey, you know what, we are unable to meet our objectives. What can we do? Can you please call us and internal control to come assist us? Remember now you are already implementing these plans. You are already in the middle of the year. So now you are calling us after the event. If you notice what it said in the definition, it says we are being proactive. So that means now you are being reactive and you call risk management to come assist you. So this is the green tag risk management. They are coming to assist. See what happens now to risk management. It falls as well. Because now it is after the event. And now we'll hear questions such as, but in the department we've got internal control and risk management, but we're still not getting a clean audit. We still have challenges. We are not meeting our objectives, we are unable to submit our plans. Then we don't see the need for risk management. But the problem was when you started, because you did not invite us to be part of your sessions. Therefore, that is why we ended up also falling, because we can't come after the event has occurred, at least if we plan together. So this is the risk management process. This is how I think District Director is still going to invite us now to do the actual risk assessment workshop. We will have a document that is called Heritage, but today just the overview of what is it that has been done. But now when you do the risk management process, you first have to establish the context. You must understand what you are employed here for. Because if you do not understand, you always say, I don't have a risk. And I know that is what you always hear most of the time. No, in my directorate, I don't have a risk. But if you are employed by the department, it shows that you have a risk. That is why you are here. So if you understand the context in which you operate in, then now you need to identify what then you do. You look at your objectives and identify what is it that could go wrong. That is now the risk event. Out of that risk event, now you need to identify the root causes. What is it that could cause me? Today we ordered an objective to come attend the strat plan. So now we need to identify what is it that could cause us not to come here on time. Then we know that now we list all the causes, and then we must know the consequence. If you are not here on time, what is the consequence on the departmental objectives? So that's how now we craft a risk. You need to a risk event. That is, what is it that could go wrong? You need to know the root causes. What is it that can cause you not for this risk to materialize, and then the consequences. And once you have done that, you rate the risk in terms of likelihood and the impact at inherent level. When you talk about the risk at inherent level, we talk about the risk without taking into consideration the internal controls that the department has. So now you say your likelihood times your impact. So when you look at your likelihood, you look at the root causes. How likely would this root cause occur in this district? And then the impact, what impact will it have on the objectives? Then you have what is called the inherent risk rating. Then you look at the internal controls that you currently have in the department. And then once you know once you identify those internal controls, you rate those internal controls. You rate them to see, even though we have these internal controls, but are they really assisting us? Or we need to have more internal controls to ensure that we meet our objectives. Then once now you have your inherent risk times your control activities, it equals to your residual risk rating. The residual risk rating is the risk that is remaining after taking into consideration the internal controls. That's where now we have to respond to the residual risk, because what we want to see at the end of the day, we all want to see all the risks in the department low. So now we have to respond. So there are 4 ways in which we respond to a risk. The first one is to treat the risk. How do we treat the risk? We put more internal controls as to ensure that this risk now is minimized, and then now we terminate the risk. How do we terminate the risk? It means that you terminate the objective. So the objectives. So now if you terminate the objective, that means now you won't have that risk anymore. And then we have tolerate. I see now we'll have the risk response a lot now, looking at the fiscal challenge that we have in South Africa. So we'll start to see this risk response and say tolerate the risk. What do we mean by saying that we know that we are exposed to this risk, but there is nothing that we can do because there is no money. So therefore we will live with this risk. So if you are saying that you're tolerating this risk, it means that you have to write something, you must write it down, and then it will be sent to the risk committee, which is a committee that is checked by the HOD, the audit committee, which is an external committee, checked in the KZN Provincial Treasury, it's a provincial committee, and then now we'll know that under Umlazi district, this risk was regarded as tolerate the risk. And then the fourth one is transferring the risk. What we do for transferring the risk, we are transferring it to the third party, which is your insurance. That's what we say now, we're transferring the risk. And then now, what are the benefits of risk management? If you implement risk management, these are some of the benefits. It's promote efficiency of service delivery, increases probability of achieving the determined goals. It creates awareness of high-risk areas and ensures uniformity in addressing exposure in all areas. Highlights processes that are not clearly understood, create awareness of what can go wrong and what can be controlled, identifies processes that are inefficient, ensures reasonable and practical time is taken to implement required responses, promotes to a proactive approach rather than the reactive approach. So now what is the consequences of not implementing risk management? We'll start to see the performance declining, the fiscal and governance crisis emerges, inability to contribute to government priorities in relation to economic and social development, goals and targets that are met at a cost that is greater than what it should be, inability to deliver in the departmental mandate in that relations. So moving to internal control, which is also what we do in our directorate. So what is the internal control? Internal control is a process affected by the MEC, HOD, management and other personnel designed to provide reasonable assurance regarding the achievement of departmental objectives. So we often hear when the audit reports are issued and then their colleagues have to comment, they will say that it was lack of internal control, thinking that it is what we are supposed to do in our directorate. But internal control are the responsibility of each manager, because you are the one that will design the controls that will assist to work in your directorate. So it's not the responsibility of internal control, but it is the responsibility of the manager or the director. What the internal control does is to verify whether the internal controls that you've designed indeed will assist towards the achievement of objectives. And then what is the objectives of internal control? Internal control assists in the effectiveness and the efficiency of operations, the reliability of financial reporting, the safeguarding of assets, the compliance with laws and regulations. And then when we talk about internal controls, what are we talking about? We're talking about your policies, your delegation framework, your specimen signatures, and any other procedure that is used by the department in order for them to conduct their operations. So these are the role players within risk management. It starts with the governing body, which is in this context, it will be the MEC. The MEC must ensure that in the department there are resources to ensure that risk management is fully functional, and then the function is delegated to the HOD as per the PFMA section 38, which says that the HOD must ensure that there's efficient and effective risk management within the department. So if you go to those tables where we see the management, if you see the risk management and management are under one table, and the internal audit is on the other table. Colleagues, I know most often we do not get a good, we don't receive as well because we think that we are auditors or we are internal control and risk management are not internal auditors. They are part of management. They are there to assist you. The role of the first line, which is management, your role is to ensure that whatever that you are employed for, you are able to identify the risk, you are able to manage the risk, so that you'll be able to deliver whatever that you have been employed to do. So that is the role of the first line, to ensure that you manage all your risk within your directorate. Then the second line now will come to be us as a risk management. My role is to sit down with you and identify what is it that you do, and then assist in the risk identification processes and in terms of rating the risk. But I do not have the role to actually identify your risk. You are the one that is working. You are the one that knows what is it that you're supposed to do. So you are the only person that can be able to identify the risk, not me. So what we do, we also look at the Auditor General report and the internal audit reports to see what is it that they've raised, in the past, so that we ensure that we try to manage that risk so that it does not come back again. When we talk about internal audit and external audit reports, those are risks that has already materialized. It's the risk that already, remember, the risk is something that has not yet happened. But now, when we're talking about AG and internal audit findings, it's a risk that has already materialized. So it is our role as risk management to ensure that when the auditors come and audit you, there are no findings, because all the risks are being managed. So if you are not honest when you are with us and you're trying to hide some other things, when the auditors come, they will raise these findings, and it will look as if we are not working. But we do come to you, but you don't want to talk because you think that the risk and internal controller and internal auditors, whereas we are part of management. As you can see here, we are grouped to be part of management. You are supposed to call us when you feel that you are you want to do something, and now you want us to assist you in the risk identification process. And then there's a third line of defense, which is the internal audit. These now external independent assurance providers. In case they are based in the provincial treasury, these are the people that will come. What they do, they draw up their audit plan using the results of our risk register. So whatever you say in the risk register, that is why it is important to be honest as much as you can, so that when the auditors come in, they know that they are not going to come and audit you when you are not ready and you do not have internal controls. So that is why we always say that management and risk management should always try to work together, so that when the auditors come, we are all on one page, because now the internal auditors are the ones that will come in and audit you and issue out audit reports. And then even when AG, which is the fourth line, come, they also use the reports that were done by internal audit, and their report is published. So it is important that we work together in-house before our problems go outside. What is it that we can do now to improve our department? The problem with the government in most cases is that we work in silos. You know that you are employed in a circuit, you are employed in a district, you are employed in head office. We are not working together. That is the thing. Well, which is the solution that can assist us is to have one voice and one view. When you are sitting in the second office, when you are thinking at provincial level, you are thinking at national level, but you are not just thinking of what you currently do here, but you are just thinking at overall what is best for the Department of Education. Coming to an end, I want to say that I want to quote from Henry Ford, which says that coming together is the beginning, keeping together is progress, working together is success.